Good morning, everyone. Welcome to BlueSync on Thursday, February 6th, 2025, believe it or not. We're here to talk about our new bingo contest, which is kicking off today. If you were on our staff sales meeting yesterday, you heard Lynn explain how this works. So we just kind of wanted to deep dive a little bit, answer any questions that you guys have, and really get this word out to all of our agents because we're really excited about the opportunity for them to not only earn some bingo points, but also go ahead and get out there in the market and get geared up for our spring selling season. So let's go ahead and jump in. Lynn is here co-hosting. So good morning, Lynn. So if you guys have any questions for myself or for her, feel free to unmute or type them in the chat box and we'll get those answered. So if you've been in Schmidt Resources this morning, you can go ahead and see that there is a banner now, thanks to Nicole Coughlin, bingo contest launching Thursday, February 6th. So the word is out there. So if you haven't talked with your sales managers or brokers yet about how you're going to roll this out, do know that the agents are going to see that. So they may be asking. So at your next sales meeting, or if you have a team meeting or a huddle or whatever it might be in your local office, now's the time to get the word out because the contest does start today. And it does run through March 31st. So do know that that is out there for the agents. And of course, we're going to notify them via Blue Matter Monday email that comes out on Monday morning as well. So the first place that you guys want to go is to your ASC square, because this is where you're going to get all of the collateral that the marketing group and Sarah and everybody put together for us. So of course, if you want to get to the ASC drive, easiest place, we're already in Schmidt Resources, jump into your people square, your Get Schmidt Done square, pop in that password. If you don't know it, reach out to your RSC or to Lynn or myself. And then you'll see down here is the ASC drive. So that links you over to the share drive. So you'll see there is now a bingo folder in here. So when you double click on that, of course, it's all of the content that you need. So the first thing I want to point out is the instructions, because Lynn and the team did a really good job of kind of lining this out so that you guys have an easy one pager. Read through, discuss with your manager broker, keep on you in case you have any questions to refer back to, and that will help you get your office set up and ready to go. And so you can see here, if you haven't already reached out to me to get cardstock paper, please do so. Staples has it. We found it a lot more inexpensive on Amazon. So that's where we've been ordering it. So feel free to shoot me an email if you need card stock, because we do want to be able to give our agents the bingo card on a nice card stock. That way it's harder to lose. So go ahead and reach out if you need that printed, or if you need the paper so that you can go ahead and print this in your local office. And then hopefully you have your CB star stamp from before when we did passports, but if not, initials, a certain color marker, whatever will work for your local office, just try to be consistent, which is a point there that number 4 makes. Just try to be consistent. You know, if you have any questions, of course, always reach out. But if you make that consistency in your office, it'll just be clear to your agents and everybody will understand what their assignments are. So you can go through here and you'll see that there is instructions on how to do this. And then when you go back to the drive, you'll see that there is both branding here. So make sure you're pulling down the branding for your office. So for CB, you'll see that this is in here. You can go ahead and make a copy. That will allow you to update some of this verbiage on here. So you can go ahead and keep this marketing piece going for the agents that are participating. This will drive engagement with the other agents when they see some of this information come out. So what does the actual card look like? We'll go ahead and pop one of those open. So you'll see it's all of the sales activity that our agents should be participating in right now. Attend a networking event. You know, maybe it's through the local board. Maybe it's a women's council of realtors, what you have in your area, whatever that might be. So if you attend a networking event, you get a bingo chip or a stamp, however you want to say it. Send an e-marketing or Moxie email to your database. Close on a transaction, place an outgoing referral. That's a great one. Contact 10 past clients. Great way to contact past clients. Buying their house is the biggest asset they'll ever own. So they want to know what their asset is doing for them. So if it's been a year, if it's been 2, if it's been 5, a great way to reach out to a past client is just to do a whole market analysis for them. And Moxie has that available. Super easy to pull in comps. Send it to them in an email and follow up with a phone call. Great way to contact back, past buyers, past clients. So you'll see that there's all of these different things that the agents can participate in order to earn their stamp. And then you'll see that there are 4 ways to win. If you get a row, obviously the free space in the middle. So you want to make sure that you take advantage of that if possible. So any row, and you'll get a $10 giftogram. This is for the agents. We'll go into the ASC side here in a second. The four corners is $15 giftogram. An X is $25. And then once the full card is complete, the agent will then go into a drawing for a Gen Blue registration. We don't quite know the value yet. They haven't opened up registration, but typically it's right around the $700 mark. Plus, you also will win $1,000 in travel money for airfare, hotel, whatever it might be. So you'll see there's a lot of different ways agents can win. Now, the question came up yesterday, can they get a new card? Well, once they complete the card, they've completed the contest, but they can win all four ways. They can win with a line, four corners, and the X. They can get four corners first and then complete the line. We just need to make sure that you guys, when you're doing their cards, clearly notate that on the tracker that we'll show in a minute so that we know where they're at. And I do know that Lynn had a question about teams, and I do see one in the chat box. So Lynn, do you want to answer the question about teams?
Sure. As far as teams, I think if you see on here, I mean, if a team, closes a transaction, that can count for a team member. But as far as the other activities that can be done singly by an agent, if that's a word, then they need to do those by themselves. And I think that's as easy as we can make it there. And you can refer to your leadership if they have a question, but we can't have one person on the team doing all the activities and then 18 people get the gift cards, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Correct. Sherry, good point. It says row, but it's any line. So any line, horizontal, column, row, any completed line is the first one that they can win. So good question. Michelle asked if there's an announcement email with the wording that we can send out. We don't have another sales meeting for 2 weeks. Michelle, so you'll be able to kind of craft that via the information that's in that ASC drive. So if you need any further help, if you're looking for maybe a little bit more imagery, reach out to Sarah Keeley or Lynn, and they'll be able to help you with that. But we are relying locally on you guys to get the word out to your agents. But all of the assets are in that ASC drive in order to help you do that. So great questions. I like it. So back into that ASC square, you'll see the instructions are there. Now, before we get into the ASC side, because you guys get to participate too, the bingo prize tracker. This was completed as the template. You'll see here that it has a chance for name, email, and then to notate who wins what. But when you go into your tabs here, you'll see that the templates have already been copied over for your office. So let me go ahead and get to one that's filled out. Let me get to Grand Rapids. Here we go. So you'll see that this one is already filled out by Amy. So thank you, Amy, for getting that done. The email address is important because that's how they're going to get that gift card. We're using the program called Giftogram. And so we need their accurate email address so that when operations triggers the gift cards to them, we'll be able to get it over to them correctly. Now, if you guys remember, we've used Giftogram before. You get an email. It says, click here to claim. You go into the system and you can pick any single gift card you want. There's hundreds of options. There's Amazon, there's Starbucks, there's Target, there's yada, 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 goes on and on. So they can choose whichever gift card they want to for the dollar amount that they've earned. So say that Julie Baker completed the row or a line. So that box gets checked. Every Friday, operations will come in here. We'll see, okay, Julie gets a $10 gift card. We'll trigger that payment, and then we will make that green so that you guys know that that was triggered. So, that following Monday, Tuesday, hey, Julie, just check in, make sure you got your giftogram. Any issues claiming that, just let us know. This will keep you guys updated on who has received what. And again, this runs through March 31st. Now, on the Century 21 side, Michelle, I know you had a question there, so I know you're on. Obviously, you guys don't go to Gen Blue, but your agents will have a cash prize drawing for anybody completing that bingo card as well. So, Lynn, I believe that's what I took from that, right?
That's correct.
Okay, great. So if you guys have any problems populating your roster list, reach out. Most of you already have your roster list in some sort of Google sheet. You can just copy and paste over, but please make sure that email address is accurate. I will also caution you if it's a Google group. So say, for example, Julie.Baker is a Google group and it forwards over to another Gmail. Try to give me that end Gmail address. Sometimes with the group forward, when it comes to things like the giftogram, it may not get there. So although for marketing purposes, of course, we want to put CB Great Lakes and such, but please give me their email address where they're actively receiving their inbox for their emails. That will help make sure that we get them what they need without delay. A couple more questions coming in before we jump over to the ASC square. Okay, so the tracker is view only. So Lynn, we'll work with, I forget, I think Amy created that. We'll have to make sure that we get editing rights to you guys. So we'll get that done.
Yeah, I believe Sherry did that portion. Is that
Okay.
correct, Sherry?
So we'll make sure that we give editing rights to everybody so that they can edit their tab for their office.
That might be on Amy because she created it.
I'm
Okay.
actually in there right now adding my agents and I'm not having any issue.
I just shared and made everybody editors with the link, if anybody has the link, so
That
Perfect.
might be
should be
why.
okay.
If you guys already had it open, go ahead and refresh. The changes that she may just have to pop through. So if you're having any issues after the fact, reach out. But thanks, guys, for getting that done so quickly. Love that teamwork and collaboration. The question was, is there only one grand prize for the entire company? So there's one for CB and then there's one for Century 21. So good question there. The question was, what if an agent gets more than one row in the tracker? So Lynn, can they win for more than one line, or is it one line one time and then four corners and then the X?
One line, one time.
Okay.
But then I just realized, okay, so if you get an X, you have a row, right? So agents are going to tend to do the X and then get their row as well, which is fine, but one line, one row. So
Okay, that makes sense. The question was, do they add all agents in our office, although the number of them do not come into the office and will not participate? Please go ahead and populate your whole roster. This will give us a good idea of who is participating. And it might help your manager. Maybe they'll make some call downs, say, hey, we have this exciting new contest going on. It's really fun. Everybody's participating. So go ahead and populate your entire roster. That would be great. Again, if you have any problems, you can go into Darwin. You can do an export of your people roster, copy and paste it over. So let us know if you have any problems with that. But if you could please put in your whole active agent list, that would be great. So Sue, for teams, they're being done individual. So if Sue and I are on a team and Carrie went to a networking event, Sue can't do the checkbox. Sue would have to go to her own networking event, even though we're on a team. So we're participating individually. Now, if Sue and Carrie had a closing because we co-listed because we're a team, then you both could get the checkbox for that closing. But most activities are being done individually. But great question. Always good for clarity. Okay, let's move over to the ASC side because everybody likes to participate, right? So back in the bingo ASC drive, in the bingo folder, we have the ASC bingo square or card here. So you'll see it looks a lot like the agent one. So just make sure when you're handing these out that you have the proper card, but go ahead and print a card for yourself. Get with your RSCs if you have any problems about that. But you'll see that there are ASC and RSC activities. So attend all BlueSync trainings, show an agent market snapshot, obviously from CB Desk, give a work tip on an ASC huddle. Make sure that maybe you figured something out when it comes to tracking your agents for bingo and it's a great tip and you share it on your ASC huddle. You go ahead and get a check mark box there. And then it's the same way that you guys would win as it would be for an agent. The row or line, the four corners, the square, the X. And then if you finish your full card, you will be entered into a grand prize winning. So the grand prize winning is a $100 giftogram and then a $50 giftogram. So basically out of the full cards, we'll pull three names. First person gets 100, second person gets 100, third person gets 50. And the same giftogram that the agents are getting where you get the email saying, hey, congratulations, you've gotten a giftogram. Click here to claim. Click the link, go in and choose whichever gift card you would like, Amazon, Target, Starbucks, McDonald's, whatever. Lots of options in there. So exciting ways to play. Obviously, there's going to be more conversations about this. We'll talk about it on the huddles in the next coming weeks. And like any contest, if you've been around when we've done Monopoly or Casino Royale, agents always have questions. And usually it's just about that consistency. So if you have a question you're just not sure how to answer, don't hesitate to reach out and ask, and then we'll make sure that we can get you that answer. Now, just like you're tracking for your agents' activities, for the ASC squares, you'll see on the bingo prize tracker at the bottom, please go ahead and enter yourself as the ASC/RSC for the office, and then you'll be able to track your same way that we track for the agents. Same process, check that box by Friday. Go ahead and the ops team will trigger the giftogram, and then we'll make it green so that you guys know. And then obviously you'll know if you get the email or not. So let me see if any more questions came in. Yes. Oh, thanks, Sherry. Sherry was pointing that out too. So the ASCs are at the bottom of the tracker. That just makes it easier for us when we're going in to trigger these giftograms to make sure they're all in the same spot. Lynn, anything to add that I may have missed?
I don't think so. I did have one question from Nikki O'Neill this morning where she heard on the meeting yesterday. Some ASCs and managers have decided to display the bingo cards in the offices so that agents didn't lose them. They might put them in a conference room for fun. I had somebody else say they didn't think they'd have a lot of participants, which is sad. But so they were keeping them at the front desk, which is fine as well. Or the agents can have them, AKA they will probably lose them, but we'll just have to do our best to keep track of that. So you can do it any way that you want. And again, I would talk to the local leadership that you're working with, make sure you're all on the same page, and just make some fun for your office out of this.
Great. The question, and thanks, Nikki. Nikki made it easy. She just made it streamlined. You can win once in every category. So that's a great way of thinking about that, Nikki. So thank you for that. The question from Riso is, do we have the manager stamp their ASC card? Are the ASCs doing it themselves and just running it through the RSC? How do you want to see that done, Lynn?
Well, I think if there's no question and the ASC knows that they did that that particular category, I think they can go ahead and stamp it. If there's questions, I would bring your manager, sales broker into that and just confirm together so that you're both on the same page. But however you want to do that in your office, I'm going to leave that to you. So
great. If you are an ASC or RSC with multiple office locations, go ahead and add yourself to the one that you either sit at the most, or whichever one. You can pick which office you want to add yourself to. So that was a great point, Nikki. So if you're covering more than one office, you can pick which tab for that you go in, because every tab will be looked at each week. Great. Well, we'll go ahead and give it just another minute. Just to recap quickly while we wait for any more questions, do know that in Schmidt Resources, our bingo contest header is there. If you're looking for that ASC drive, you want to go into your People Square, our Get Schmidt Done Square, and then the ASC procedure link is here. And then we have the folder for bingo, and then all of your assets are in here, including that tracker. Again, if you're having any edit issues or whatnot, just reach out and let us know, but it should all be in there. And then go ahead and take a peek at those instructions. And step one, if you need that cardstock paper, reach out right away, because we want to get that to you so that you can get these cards printed off. Now, obviously things happen. If an agent loses a card, you're directionally going to kind of remember the stamps that they had. So feel free to issue them a new card. It's all Scouts honor here, but those things do tend to happen. So if they do need to be reissued a new card, by all means, that's okay. Those things happen. Again, if you're having access issues to the drive, please go ahead and email me with the email address that you're logged into so that we can make sure that you have access, and we'll make sure that we get that added. Absolutely. Century 21, we're excited to have you guys as part of the contest. Good point. If you're able to source cardstock locally, please do, but we'd much rather just go ahead and ship it to you. Amazon Prime 2-day. Here in Traverse, it's down to 1 day. We have a new warehouse, which is pretty exciting. But yeah, source that cardstock paper, share with an office, because the reams come with 200. So if you're able to share locally, with another office, feel free to do that as well. Great. Well, Lynn, any last parting thoughts?
Yeah, I do have one thought, and that was that if you're looking for content for lunch and learns or things to do in your offices, like we have every other week, we have agent get together, and it's either the connected agent or it's a roundtable. This morning they're in roundtable, and if there are not pertinent topics to cover, they are going to pull out their bingo cards and they're going to work on presenting a buyer presentation. They're going to grab some of these activities and they're just going to get right to it and work on their bingo cards. So I think this is giving us a lot of content for education in our offices. So go ahead and lead on that and remind your managers and sales brokers about that.
Wonderful. Love it. All right. Well, thanks everyone for your time today. Thanks to Lynn and the team for hard at work on this contest for getting it launched. And we're really excited to play bingo from now until March 31st. So thanks everyone. Appreciate the time. Bye now.
Thank you.